We are now on the On Tyranny playlist. This is video number 2, which is chapter number 2. And if you're watching this, hopefully it's because you maybe need some practical solutions on how to deal with what's coming to America after January 20th. So we're going to go ahead and move into the second one. We've created this playlist of all 20 steps in Timothy Snyder's book On Tyranny. Now, I highly recommend that you don't just take my word for it and that you don't just take my information or what I'm telling you. Go ahead and please buy the book. I would recommend that you buy the book from a trusted local source, like a small bookstore. Please do not buy this book on Amazon. We're fighting tyranny. We don't want to buy this book on Amazon. If you're looking for a small independent bookseller that sells this book, I did include a link in the link above my profile. I'm not really, I'm not doing like a Johnny 5 TikTok shop for this. That's just not going to happen. But if you're looking for someone and you want to buy it, there is a link. You can also download on your phone the Libby app. If you have a library card, you probably get this book for free. And, you know, I've seen people commenting in the comments if they have an extra copy of the book, maybe they can lend you. Please do not pirate this book. It's really important. So I'm not actually going to read you the book, but we're going to go over some concepts and ideas. So number 2 in On Tyranny is defend institutions. And what Snyder has to say about this is it is institutions that help us preserve decency. They need our help as well. Do not speak of our institutions unless you make them yours by acting on their behalf. So what does that mean? What is a practical application of what that means? Okay, so I took a few notes of things that you can practically do for this step, which is defend institutions. So obviously support the free press. Or, you know, comments and videos like this, the expression of ideas. A pending ban on TikTok is definitely not defend institutions, but support your free press. Maybe there is a local small newspaper that you can subscribe to. The next one is show up for local democracy. So this one I'm a big fan of. Your local school board, your local city council meeting, your local county commission meeting, even like obscure things like your local Department of Transportation. There are so many agencies in your state and city that have meetings that are public. You have every right to be at those things. You have every right to make your voice heard. What I will tell you is we have observed over the course of the last several years, the very far right have really showed up in these places. And because they're the only people that those local politicians hear from, that is what is changing the course and direction of our democracy, because the loudest voice in the room gets heard, the squeaky wheel gets heard, that sort of thing. The next note that I took on this when I was going over the book is obviously hold leaders accountable. And that's the same thing, whether that's elections or emailing them or calling them. It's important that you actually let your representatives know that you are paying attention to what they're doing. I cannot tell you how many of your local leaders, whether that's your city council person or your state representative, like the person who is your state house representative or assembly, they don't know that you're watching them. But if you let them know that you're going to hold them accountable, that changes policy a lot. So that's definitely one that I'm a big fan of. The next one I have is join a local group. So maybe that's like the ACLU, maybe that's just a local civic activist organization. If you are progressive, maybe it's a socialist group or something like that. But find and search for a group that you can join. And that does more than just defending the institution, right? It allows you to create a space of community. And the other thing is, you know, share what you learn, share things like On Tyranny, share other pieces and bits of knowledge. So that's number 2 on Tyranny, defend institutions. The institutions that we have in a democracy matter, and they fall very quickly when they are not defended. Please, if you get a chance, share out this playlist so that we can spread this information to other people. A lot of people have told me that they're just in a situation where they can't even afford to buy the book, which we totally understand. So if you have a copy of On Tyranny that you're ready to give to someone else, go ahead and connect with them in the comments. I've already seen people doing that. And then I'm going to give away my copy of On Tyranny when we're done with this series, but only to people who comment below what the lesson is and what they learned. So please do that. And we'll see you for the next one, which is lesson 3. The first one, if you remember, was never obey in advance. Do not obey in advance. Right now, we just covered number 2, which is defend institutions. And then we're going to go on to the next video, which is number 3, which is beware the one-party state. That sounds really familiar right now, I know. So stick in. Let's go to the next video, which is number 3.